So here's question 4. It's for 8 marks. It's quite a long equation, but that's also a good thing because we notice that there is a lot of reduction formula. We notice negative angles, so the first step will carry quite a few marks. Now we're starting off by looking at sine squared 360 minus x. And I just want to show you this separately first. Remember that whenever a trig ratio is squared, it means that the answer from that reduction formula is squared. So here we have sine squared minus 360, sine squared of 360 minus x, and 360 minus lies in the fourth quadrant where sine is negative. So we know that is going to give us negative sine x. However, the square indicates that this answer will be squared. And negative sine x squared is going to give us positive sine squared x. So this is how we actually apply the square. The square tells us that whatever answer we get, that answer is squared. So here we have sine squared x. Now there's a minus in this equation, so I'm just going to bring that down. We're now focusing on cos of x minus 180 degrees. So remember that if it looks like a reduction formula, but it's swapped around, and the value is negative, we add 360 onto it. What that does is it allows the value to become positive. So this gives us cos of x plus 180. And since both these values inside the bracket are now positive, we can actually swap places with them. So we can interchange them. So swapping them around, we have cos of 180 plus x. And now this is a reduction formula. So 180 plus lies in the third quadrant where cos is negative. This gives us negative cos x. So notice how much of understanding we actually need and the application that we need to do before we get an answer. So there we have it, negative cos x. I've placed it in a bracket because there was a minus in front already. Next we have tan of negative x, and we know that is going to be negative tan x. We now have sine of 90 minus x. 90 minus lies in the first quadrant where all trig ratios are positive. However, 90 changes sine into cos. Now focusing on cos 360 plus. 360 plus lies in the fourth quadrant where cos is positive. That is going to be positive cos x. Now focusing on the denominator, we have sine of 180 plus x. 180 plus is in the third quadrant where sine is negative. So there we have negative sine x. Okay, so here's our denominator, negative sine x. Now in the next step, we are going to simplify what we have. So we cannot do anything with the sine squared, right? So that's going to stay as is for now. I am then going to, now I want you to notice that you got a negative times a negative times a negative, which actually gives you a negative, right? However, there's a negative in the denominator as well. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So all of these signs simplify to a positive. Because remember, negative times a negative is a positive. Positive times a negative is a negative. And negative divided by a negative is a positive. Now I know that we have cos x times cos x times cos x, which you can write as cos cubed x. However, what I am going to do is I'm just going to leave this cos x as is, the first one. And the reason why I'm doing that is because here we have tan x. And tan x is going to simplify to sine x over cos x. And at this point, we notice that that cos x before and the cos x from the denominator can cancel out with each other. We're now left with cos x times cos x, which is going to be cos squared x. And don't forget about the sine x that was in the denominator. Now you also realize that the sine x from the numerator and the sine x from the denominator cancel out as well. So these cancel out. And what we're now left with is sine squared x plus cos squared x. And this is our identity, right? So that's equal to 1. So here we have 1 as our final answer. Now let's see where the marks were allocated. So you've got 1 mark allocated to sine squared x, then negative cos x, negative tan x, cos x, and the negative sine x. Your first step carried 6 marks. You were then given a mark for your step where you simplified and you had sine squared x plus cos squared x, and 1 mark for your final answer.